In 1795, gold was found in Wicklow. It was found by workers felling trees on the estate of Lord Carysford. John Evans stumbled upon gold flakes in the Aughrim riverbed. Word spreads fast, and within a few weeks more than 1,000 people have arrived. Around 300 people are actively digging into the gravel bed, while women worked downstream, using bowls to rework the spent gravel for any previously overlooked gold particles. The gold recovery was remarkably successful. During this initial unregulated gold rush, which lasts exactly 1 month, locals extracted an estimated 80 kg of gold. This included some spectacular specimens, with the largest gold nugget weighing over 384 grams. This impressive nugget was later confiscated and then presented to King George III, who fashioned it into a snuff box. The extraordinary success of local prospectors quickly grabs British government attention, and on October the 8th, the Lord Lieutenant of Ireland, Lord Camden, wrote to the British Prime Minister and said, "The quantities now collected are very considerable, many lumps weighing several ounces. Booths are erected for the sale of whiskey. Go on." Local authorities moved swiftly, and on the 15th of October, exactly 1 month from the discovery, British military forces took control of the site. Major Brown led 2 companies from the Kildare militia to secure the area and remove the whiskey drinkers. Which is so fun to me because my granny's from Aughrim and she loves whiskey and water. But anyway, where's our gold? The intervention by the British Crown is explicitly framed as asserting the Crown's ownership rights, with one contemporary account stating the purpose was to secure the wealth therein for His Majesty, to whom all such so discovered of rights belongs. Following the military takeover, the government establishes official mining operations, and mining begins under the direction of 3 British commissioners, including a 23-year-old boy, a geology graduate, Thomas Weaver, who had previously managed the copper mines in Wicklow for the British. In 1797, the Gold Mines Act is then passed, which establishes a legal framework for British state control of the gold mining operations. The first gold ingot produced under official management was sold to the Bank of Ireland 2 months later. By the time the 1798 rebellion broke out in May that year, another 17 kilograms had been recovered through these state-run operations. However, the rebellions disrupted the mining operations as many workers abandoned the mines to join the rebels. Yes, they took over the gold mine, they stopped the sale of whiskey, and then they had Irish labourers extract on behalf of the Crown. Between 1795 and 1860, 300 kilograms of gold are lifted out of Wicklow. That would be worth £23 million in today's money. However, despite extensive efforts, no mother lode vein is ever found. This actually remains one of the most enduring mysteries of Irish geology, is where exactly did this gold originate? Today, Wicklow and Tyrone are the 2 Irish counties with proven gold deposits, although exploration continues in other areas. In Tyrone, the gold at Curnault is considered one of the world's top gold deposits. Meanwhile, in Wicklow, exploration continues. Wicklow is a magical place full of stuff and fairies, so I'm not surprised. But apparently there is more platinum, gold and precious metals in the streams in the southeast than they first thought. Since the discovery in 1795, there's been a number of scams, mining scams, cases where vague promises of gold have been used to inflate shareholder prices, while Dublin elites use the gold rush as a way to make themselves richer. This happened with the Carysford Mining Company in 1858, the Connery Mining Company in 1868. Both these companies ended up being dissolved in the face of shareholder revolts because the gold never materialised. This is outright looting being disguised as mining enterprise, but so reflective of how still colonial Irish land and resources are used to attract shareholders, naive investors. As of now, recreational panning is still done in Wicklow, but there has been no viable gold mining operations. Modern exploration is continuing and becomes more of an important discussion where there may be precious minerals that are desirable to people who produce advanced military technology, that the exploration and mining of Irish minerals is controlled and influenced heavily by corporate interests. Our history shows us that local wealth has been repeatedly discovered, hyped, extracted, removed, hidden, whether that's through imperial armies or corporate scams. The theme is central control, local exclusion, and speculative exploitation. The Wicklow Mountains are a magical place full of fairies. They won't remain a magical place full of fairies if these cowboys find gold or antimony. But all of this talk about gold in Wicklow and Tyrone has me wondering about these Irish stereotypes. Has it always been just out of reach? I'll follow this up with more research, but food for thought right now, 2 things to leave you with. This pot of gold mythology. A leprechaun guarding a pot of gold. Always hidden, just out of reach, and yet it's always been there. That's not branding. That's not branding. What if the Irish in exile couldn't say the truth out loud? So they planted it in stories. Remember, many of the people who fled or were exiled from Ireland left after the 1798 rebellion, after the famine, which is only 40 years later. They end up in Boston, New York, Chicago. They work in print shops, publishing houses, unions. They know how to hide messaging in plain sight. That's what we do. They can't openly publish seditious material, but they know that the British are trying to erase Ireland's cultural memory that we even have gold. So they wrap it in folklore, nursery rhymes, cereal boxes. What if the Fenian Brotherhood used coded language and symbolism? This is what survivor culture does. The Irish didn't forget. They encoded their history into Western culture. It's a living motif. They told you the gold was a joke, but it's been always real. This leprechaun is not a cartoon. He's a rebel. The second thing I want us to think about is the timing. 1795, gold is found. 1796, Irishmen are conscripted back to the site, now under Crown control. Now they are not independent panners, the labourers. The resource is no longer communal, it's imperial property, and we are reduced to a workforce on our own land, while the gold is both physically and symbolically gifted to King George, and he turns it into a snuff box. That's how much he thinks of the Irish. By 1798, the rebellion explodes, and yet no one talks about how just 3 years earlier, seized Irish gold from Irish land, turned it into an object for the elite, and sent Irish people back down into the mines as subordinates. That isn't a coincidence, it's causation. This is economic humiliation. Why is that connection never talked about? Because to reveal the link between these two events reveals that the 1798 rebellion was not just radical idealism. It was a response to material theft, to the imperial insult. Talking about this exposes the fact that the Crown knew in 1795 that Ireland was rich. Armed revolutions don't happen because of votes or politics or religion. They happen because your resources are being stolen out from under your nose and you're angry.